Hi, it's Rachel. Welcome to what I think is going to be a podcast on sustainable living, but sustainable living in the way that I am beginning to understand it. So we came here to Southwest Scotland to this lovely place called Drumwhill about 18 months ago in August 2018, and I just had this dream, this idea, as it were, to um, to live in harmony with nature, with myself, and with all things, and also to be able to make a living out of living. So I didn't want to have this kind of thing where I needed to go out and do something that didn't really feel part of my living to make my living. So I was like, okay, how can this all go together? How can it all fit together? How can I live my life with the aim of living fully, freely, presently, connectedly? And how can I use that way of living to contribute to others? And how can they contribute to me in the process? And so we live here and it's beautiful. Like there's views of a loch and nature all around. So we've gone from living in a city and town to living in kind of the middle of nowhere, which isn't something I've done before either. And even though we're 18 months in, it's still really early days. We're still very much learning about ourselves in this environment, and learning about nature and our nature, and about this place and what it wants to become. And um, and what it already is, I guess, like we kind of are developing this relationship where we're learning about each other over time. And I'm also learning about, like, I've asked the nature to show me how to live like the way she lives. I want to learn how she lives. I have this real sense of energy, and I don't know if you can see, but this is like, it's got this sort of figure eight on its side movement, like this infinity sign. It feels like things flow naturally in nature, and I sort of tune into the energy of the way that nature is and responds, and there's this kind of constant flow. Nothing really stops. Everything is organic, and it moves and it changes and it flows and it moves and it changes and it flows. And there's just this sense of, even when we don't think it's moving, something's always moving, always changing. And there's a real organicness, softness, constantness to the way she moves. And I'm really grateful to be learning and watching that each day. Like, it's so present with me outside the window. I can't help but see it and notice it and be part of it. And being part of nature here, where the nature's so big and there's no other houses to see, reminds me about the smallness of myself, a human, in the landscape of nature. And that's a different dynamic than before. Like when I lived in a city or town, there's more, the balance is different. There's more humans and there's more artificial buildings and things that have been created. So nature's it's less in my face, it's less apparent, it's less dominant in a way. Like it sometimes the humans are more dominant, or in a big city sometimes the buildings feel the most dominant thing, or the fact of being enclosed feels the most dominant thing. But here the landscape's really vast and wide, and the loch with the mountains at the back and the trees to the side. So there's a real sense of the width and vastness and depth, and also the depth under the earth of the nature here, that really gives me a totally different sense of the smallness of humanity. And there's this real sense that the nature's sort of all pervading. It's been here way longer than us, and it will be here way after us. And like there's a alwaysness, a knowingness to the landscape and to the land and to the fact that it will exist, it will continue, it will find a way. There's a real sense of that when I connect into the nature. It's like it knows it will remain, it knows it will always be here. It doesn't know how that might look or what might occur, but it has this constant, it's more than a constantness, but it has this I can't always find words for the energy that I'm aware of, but it's like a like it's it's here. It just is really. And it knows it just is, and it knows that it just always will be. And I really appreciate that, you know, it looking and spending time with that each day, this sense of alwaysness and isness reminds me of the alwaysness and isness of me. There's parts of me that are energy that will always continue in some form or shape, will always flow, because like energy just keeps moving, it finds a way. And then there's the physical form of me, which is in this body here, and that's that will not always be here. But it's nice to really get a sense of both of them. The physical landscape may not remain as is, but energetically, the sense of this place will always remain. And it's just really quite amazing to have the opportunity to learn and to be receptive to it and to respond to it. You know, I've had this sense often in life that I wanted to be able to respond like organically without any stopping things. And I have this sense of also wanting to be responded to, because that's how I feel like the dynamic is in nature. You know, things contribute, things receive, things flow. There's this symbiotic organic connection, this ecosystem of all things, and it sustains itself. Things sustain themselves individually, but they also sustain each other, and they sustain the whole. And like I can't really it moves me really to tears to as to how precious it is that I've been able to come here and allow this land to show me the way that it works and its ecosystem, and how I can translate that into a way of living with myself, and living with other people, and living with animals, and living with nature, and living with all that is. Because I've always had this sense of that there's a way of living with all that is that's really sort of respectful and harmonious, and that dances and responds and just, and you know, there's like this, oh yeah, and this and that, and flow, and over here, and yes, and that, and this needs doing, and the sense that actually, no, we don't need to hold on to that being a specific way. It might never be that way again, and we don't need it to be that way ever again, and we don't need to attach to what the future looks like, or we don't need to attach to the way it worked in the past. We can be really so fully present and alive in the moment, the way nature is, that we are able to respond to and react, really, not in a way, but we are able to just respond, react to whatever's happening, and to what's happening both inside and both outside. And nature does that beautifully. She responds to herself inside and to outside, and there's this constant almost readjustment to include things, and to when things are gone, to there's another recalibration, another readjustment. And I really sense that. And I also sense how on one level, how easy it is for us to live like that. The model's already here and we could just follow that. If we were just willing to, and we're like, yeah, actually that makes a great deal of sense. Cool, I'm just going to live that way. And then, you know, practically maybe it's not necessarily always so easy to make the adjustments. There's things about moving here that are different, that are taking time on a physical level for me to adjust into and to get used to. But energetically, it feels like home. It's like a way of functioning and a way of being that I've always known. And I feel like my ecosystem and my nervous system have always known this. But cognitively, I haven't known or understood it. And yeah, so it seems like the most magical, amazing gift to be able to see it in motion each day, and to then wonder, like, okay, how can I live this way? Because whenever I learn things, I'm like, okay, I don't want to learn it in an abstract, conceptual way. I want to live that way. I want to experience it. Like, I want every cell and molecule of my being and body to embody that and to know how it is to move that way, to live that way, to feel that way, to experience that way, and to, wow, I don't know a word for that bit, but to harmonize that way. So it is the most fabulous thing, an opportunity to have. And I guess I sat in bed last night and I just thought, you know, it would be really nice to do this as a series, to talk about it. I watched Avatar again the week, and you know, he was doing a video log of each time he was going into the Avatar's body and coming back out, and it was like, actually it would be really beautiful to do a log, whether it's for you all or if it's for me or for the future, I don't know at this stage. But actually it's really nice to capture these experiences and to be able to share them, and the land is kind of like, it's flowing at me energy to contribute to that, because it wants people to know how it functions. It kind of has this receptivity and this desire to contribute. This land here, it's really got such a desire to contribute, and to show people it's really open, and really, it's kind of really hearty land as well as kind of belly röry land, and it really wants to contribute to people and allow them to experience it. It's really willing to openly show people how it works so they can experience it, so that they can add as much or as little as that into their lives as they want to. You know, that's what it's doing for me. And with me, you know, it's kind of, it's having this sort of cool dance interaction, or I don't even know the word for that, but it's kind of like it's like a symbiotic connection, I guess. There's an organic movement between us, and it's shown me freely whatever I'm willing to receive or know, or whatever I'm curious about. Just like a kid would be like, oh, can you tell me about that, or will you show me about that? It kind of, it responds to my ask, but also it pokes at me, and it's like, actually, it's showing me things all the time. It just can't help but show me things, because it's just in its nature to show me. It wants to include me, like the land wants to include us, human beings, humanity, as part of it. And it wants us to function and dance with it so that we can be fully included and fully open to it, and like dance this dance of possibilities that it knows is available and possible. And it wants to show us. It's like really excited. It's really delighted and excited, and like quite giddy like a kid. It's like, yeah, come on play. Like, yeah, I'll show you how that works. Yeah, come on. Like, you can do it like this, you can do it like this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And there's a real plethora of possibilities for living in a way that's sustaining is the best word I have, but it's more than that. It's living in a way that sustains and is sustained and lives and gives life and contributes and receives, and it's like the full effervescence of living. It's available like in each molecule, and it kind of wants to show us how we can embody that in each molecule of our bodies. Yeah, it's really interesting doing this actually, because I didn't know that I was going to start these today until I went to bed last night, and also I didn't know really what I was going to say, but I don't know if you can sense, but the land's off to my right out the window, and all the time it's feeding me messages, and it's like a bit like the way mediums can hear messages like from spirits, like the land. It's giving me, it's like telling me what it wants me to say all the time, and it's like this dance of like bringing it in and allowing it to have its say, have its voice, give voice to the way it experiences itself, because it knows all this stuff, and it knows some people are listening, but actually it really wants more people to listen, and it really wants more voices to be able to express through, so that it can get its message out, because there's a real desire for life to carry on. It wants life to carry on, and it wants us to be able to carry on as humans, living fully and freely, and it also wants every molecule of life to be able to carry on. And it knows that in order to do that, there needs to be this dance between humans and the earth. That just needs to happen. Yeah, it just needs to happen. And it wants it to happen. Like, there's a real strong desire. Like, it's saying, hi, come on, wake up, I'm over here and I'm showing you. Will you listen? Will you listen? Will you listen? A bit like a small child might do, tugging on your arm, like, hey, will you listen? And there's a real desire from the land for us to listen. And it really has such a strong desire to share freely, if we would only listen. And what a beautiful thing that is to offer us, like it's offering to gift fully and freely to anybody, to anything, to everything. Yeah, so that feels like kind of a good place to maybe stop today. But yeah, but I'm going to continue to explore this, I don't know, this dance, this journey, this play, this whatever that is, flow with the land, and see what that creates, and see how these come. And I'm also feeling like this is part of something else, so we'll see what that opens out to be too. And if you want to follow us, I guess, or I don't know, follow us is the word, but if you want to connect, I guess, receive, if there's something that Drumwhill has to offer you, then it would like to, actually. That's what it's saying. If there's something that Drumwhill can offer you, it would like to. Yeah, so it would like you to, if you want to, you can look at its pictures and tune into the energy in the pictures. You can just tune into the energy of it here. You can, yeah, you can find us different ways. I guess we're on Facebook. It's Drumwhill, as in I'm still practicing my Scottish, so maybe it will come over time, but it's DRUMWHILL. And we're on Facebook and have a website which we're just starting. It's kind of curious. How would you like to play with it? It's like, if how would you like to play? Would you like to play? And if you want to play, what's your way to play? You know, each of us play differently with different things, and we have different experiences of them. And it's really open to exploring how you would like to play with it. Yeah, so thank you for being here. Thanks for watching or listening or sharing. Thanks also just for being here on the planet in a body or not. Um, yeah, thank you. See you soon. Bye for now.